Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so the products I use you can purchase from me at the address at the top of the screen, and it's also linked below. My project today is, I want to call it a lunch bag treat box, because it reminds me of the lunch bags that my little kids used to have. Opens like this, and inside I have a bunch of stuff. We have a Dum Dum lollipop, Pop Rocks, Twix, and a full-size Reese's peanut butter cup. So it fits quite a bit of stuff. When I put this in, I'll tell you the measurement. Okay, it is 4 1/4 tall by 3 inches wide by 1.5 inches at the base here. Alrighty, and I used the Scary Cute bundle, the stamp set for this, and the only thing I used the die for was the tag. I also used the Stylish Shapes dies for this circle there, but it's about, let's see, the circle is about 3/4 of an inch, so if you have a 3/4 inch punch, you can use that also. I also used some metallic mesh ribbon, some black and white gingham ribbon, and some linen thread. Alrighty, I really like this little creation I did today. Okay, so what we need for this project. Remember, this is my host code for the rest of August. If you're going to spend under 150, please put that in, and I can send everybody a little surprise. Okay, first we need a piece of pumpkin pie that is 9.5 by 7 3/4. We need another scrap of pumpkin pie to do the tag. We need 2 pieces of the black and white designs DSP that are 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And 1 piece that is 2 3/4 by 1.5. We need, for the back handle here, we need a strip of Gorgeous Grape that is 1/2 by 7. And this is a 3/4 inch circle that I cut from Gorgeous Grape using the Stylish Shape dies. Okay, for stamping on, we need a piece of basic white that is 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. And to mat it, we need a piece of Gorgeous Grape that is 2 1/2 by 1 1/2. Alrighty. Okay, so let me get my Simply Scored. Okay, and on the 9.5 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2, 2, 5, and 6 1/2. And then we're going to turn it to the 7 3/4 inch side, and we're going to score at 1.5, 5 1/2, and 6. Okay, now I'm going to fold and burnish. Alright, so this is how we have it here. The skinniest rectangle is on the left hand side, and there is a 1.5 inch strip at the bottom, and a 1 3/4 inch strip at the top. Alright, and this is what we want to do here. Okay, so we're going to start over on the left hand side, and we're going to go to the first score line and cut it to the first score line, and then wedge up into the skinny rectangle. Go to the next score line, cut it straight to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square. Ooh, I did a bad job there. Okay, that's better. Next score line, up to the first score line, next score line up to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square here. Okay, so that's our bottom. So we're going to turn it 180 so that the skinniest rectangle is on the right hand side. and we're going to start over on the left again. And we're going to go to the first score line and cut it straight to the second score line. Okay, and then all of this we're going to take off. Okay, so turn it a quarter turn. We're going to count up 1 to the second score line and just cut everything off up to where we cut before, which is right there. Okay, and you can use this piece actually to do your sentiment. Okay, alrighty. Now the only other thing is, this is our flap here. We want to round both quarters of this flap. Okay, and this is what your cardstock should look like after you're done scoring, cutting, and rounding those corners. Okay, I'm going to get some tear and tape, and I'm going to put it on the skinny rectangle close to the score line. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to take the backing off. Flip it over. This is the inside of the box. We're going to flip the side with the tape and flip the other side to meet it. Okay, now this is the back of our box. The part that has the flap attached is the back. Put the sides and the back down and put some tear and tape on this front flap. One close to the edge and one inside a little bit for extra. Okay. And then just make sure that it looks nice and straight on the bottom. You can put your Take Your Pick tool in to kind of press it down from the inside. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to just run my fingers and push gently down the side. And then you're just going to squeeze it. You don't have to squeeze all the way in this time because we have that little piece. Okay, and that's how it's going to look. And we're done. Alright, so now let's get some of our DSP. Alright, so we have 3 pieces of the black and white designs. 2 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. They're going to go on the front and the back. And 1 piece that is 2 3/4 by 1 1/2 is going to go here. So we have to round one of the long ends on both sides. That'll fit in there nicely. Okay, I'm going to add these with liquid glue. Okay, there we go. Alright, now we need, I used liquid glue on this one and I was having a little trouble. So I'm going to try Stampin' Seal Plus on doing the handle this time. Now what I did was I just curled the whole thing with my bone folder. And it's going to go on like this. Alright, so we're going to attach both ends down like this. Okay, so I'm going to put about 1 inch of Stampin' Seal Plus on each one. I'm just going to roll anything that's over the edge back on top. Okay, and we want to put it about 1 inch down. About, I'd say, 1/4 inch from each side. Good. Okay, and then we'll do the other side. And just make sure, yeah, it's this front. I'm just going to twist it back and get it in that same position. Oops, this one's a little bit lower. There we go. You can also mark it with a pencil first before you put it down so that you have a guide. But I did that pretty freehand and it's good. Okay, so that's how it seems to be staying on nicely. All right. Now for the closure, let's get some 3/8 inch adhesive Velcro dots. Get them in the sewing sections of Walmart, and I'm sure the craft stores have them. So I'm just going to put one inside in the middle, only about 1/8 of an inch down from the top. And then I will put the other one on top of it with the adhesive towards me. Then we want to close it so that we feel it click together here on this flat part. Okay. Just make sure it's going down straight and press it a little bit. See if you can get it apart and then press down. Sometimes you might have to take your pick tool in there to separate them if they're not coming apart nicely. And that's the basic lunch bag. Okay. Now let's set this aside for one moment and let's do our stamping. Okay, so we need, I'll use this again. We need a piece of basic white that is 2 1/4 by 1 1/4, and we're using the 3 trick-or-treaters, which are crooked. There we go, the 3 trick-or-treater stamp. Okay, and some Tuxedo Black Ink. Now I did one of these on the Stamparatus before, but I want to see if I can get it to go without it. So I'm going to ink it up really well. Make sure that there's nothing on the edges of the stamp. I think we're good. Okay. I'm going to try it. Not too bad, but let me show you. This is with the Stamparatus, which is similar to other tools that were on the market. This one is just freehand, and this one is with doing it again with the Stamparatus. So there's a little bit, you see how there's a little bit of spots that don't get covered. On the Stamparatus, you just do it until it finishes the whole image. All right, that's the only time I've really had a problem at all is when it's like a big silhouette or something with a flat color all the way through. Then the Stamparatus is the best bet. Okay, so again, this was 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. This piece of gorgeous grape is 2 1/2 by 1 1/2. I'm just going to mount them together with liquid glue. I tried to use the rectangle stitched dies, but I couldn't find one that was just right for this, so I just cut my own rectangles. Would have been pretty with some stitching, but that's okay. All right. Then we're going to put this right down there, and I used dimensionals on that. I'm just gonna try to center it. Okay. Now let's do our sentiment. Yeah. Okay, so you can use this scrap here from making the box, and we're going to use this biggest piece here. And this says, "Trick or treat, you are so sweet." Make sure there's nothing on the edges. I'm bad at rolling it a little when I get it on. Okay, and we're just going to put it right in the middle. Perfect. And then I used this die from the Scary Silhouettes dies, but you can use any one you want. And I'm going to just tape it right there. And I'm going to cut it, and I'll be right back. All right, so now I'm going to put a small hole in the beginning of my sentiment. There. This is a 1/8 inch hole punch, but you could also use take your pick tool or a larger one if you want to. And first I'm going to use the mesh metallic ribbon. And I'm going to, I think that the Stampin' Seal Plus worked a little bit better than the glue. Probably just because I was impatient and I didn't want to, I thought it was done and I let go of it and it popped back down. Popped it back up. Alright, I'm going to tie a bow on the side. I'm going to make a loop on the right. And then go behind and over with the other piece and pull it through the hole, and that usually makes my tails stay where they're supposed to. I want to get it tight. There we go. I love how this ribbon pulls nicely wide if you want to. And I'm just going to clip off the tails. Okay, then I used some linen thread. I just made a nice loop, say probably about 6 inches doubled. And I'm just going to stick the loop through the hole, open it up, and put the other pieces through it. And I'm just going to tie this around the bow. Just the front part of the bow here. Don't need to go around the back of it. Stay in front of the handle because then your sentiment will kind of stay there. I want it sticking over here if I can. And then I'm just going to tie another bow with the rest of the linen thread. I'm just going to kind of scrunch it up a little bit. Just like that. Okay. And then we have our small circle. It's 3/4 inch from Stylish Shapes Dies because it has the little dots around it. I'm just going to put that right on there with liquid glue. And I really wanted orange accents, but we don't have them this year. We have like this pale papaya, but I really wanted orange. So I decided to just make another bow with the black and white gingham ribbon. You could also add Wink of Stella to the little figures and to this if you wanted to. I'm just going to make a really little one. Good. Whoopsie. And I'm just going to take a glue dot and stick it on next to the image. I'll stick it, I guess, right on the white, basic white cardstock. And that's it. I think this is such a cute little gift for Halloween. You could also adjust it to be for any occasion, really. I'm in love with this little pattern for this little bag. I love it. Okay, if you have any questions, my email is below. You can shop with me. That link is below also, and the link to my blog that has all the measurements. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.